Hopefully, you are fine. Okay, now I would like to explain about the material today. The material is about recount text. Please watch and listen to the next. There are several things that we are going to learn. The first is the definition, and then the purpose of recount text, generic structures, example of recount text, and the last, link with features. Okay, the first we talk about the definition of recount text. What is recount text? Recount text is a text which retells event or experience in the past. It means that recounts mean to tell. So, recount text can be interpreted as text that tell. If referring to the information in the school book, it can be junior high school or senior high school. Recount text is a text that tells a reader about one story, action, or activity. It is goal to entertain or informing to the next reader, but inside recount text there is no complication, just like in narrative text. And then the purpose. The purpose of recount text is either to inform or to entertain the readers. There is no complication among the participants, and that differentiates from narrative text. A recount text has an orientation, a series of events in chronological order, personal remarks on the event, and a reorientation that rounds up the sequence of events. It means that the purpose of recount text is to list and describe past experiences by retelling events in the order in which they happened. Recounts are written to retell events with the purpose of either informing or entertaining their audiences, or both. In a simple word, the purpose of recount text is to retell past experiences, like I explained before. We continue. There is generic structures. The first, orientation. It is introducing the participant, place, and time. Participant is like the character. It means that I, you, or Yuris, Winda, and so on. And then place. Place that means like Palembang, Yogyakarta, Bali, and so on. And then the time. It means the time is in the morning, leisure, and so on. And next, there is event, describing series of events that happened in the past. It means that the story happened in the past. For example, when you were a child, when in your junior high school, or the other example. And the last, there is reorientation. It is optional, starting personal comment of the writer to the story. So this is the example of recount text. Travel on the train for the first time. You can read by yourself. And now I will give you one more video example of report text. Please watch and listen to the next video.
Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Septiani Magdamayanti. Today I'm going to tell you about my recount text, which is about my best friends. I will tell you who is my best friend, the time we met for the first time, and also how could we become a best friend until today. And now let me tell you about that. Talk about ourselves can be separated from talk about our life, our ability, our family, and also our friends. And talking about friends can be a little bit usual, since we know that everybody must be has a friend, right? But how about best friends? Maybe it will be more interesting. As the others, I also have best friends. But there is one among the others who is really like my sister. This best friend of mine is Ayu Masita, but she is usually called as Usi. And this is the picture of her. I was in my first year in junior high school when I met her for the first time. When the first time I looked her, she was really calm and looked so smart. In the first year, I was not really close to her, but after I moved and sat in the row behind her, then we started to talk and tease each other. We were became more closer when we got the same class in the second year. I sat next to her, and then we start to talk not only about the lessons but also about our families, our hobbies, our favorites, and etc. And we start to know about each other, including our good habits and also our bad habits. And we also read the same books and watch the same movies. And we both really love Harry Potter. But we were not always be well all the time. Sometimes I met her sad and annoyed since I realized that I was a little bit childish. But she always relent and be kind to me. Unfortunately, in the third year, we got a different class. We met rarely and never went out together since we know that we had to focus in our final exam. Moreover, we were not enrolled the same high school, and she then continued her study to Yogyakarta. We met more rarely and had less of communication. Even though we got further in distance, but I had to say thanks to social media, because we could still keep in touch by social media. We could still share our news and our information about each other. And we would spend our time to meet up when she was back home. I look my best friend, Aymasita, as a role model, since she was really calm, smart, fun, but still modest. And one more thing that made me always happy was she never missed to bring a little gift or cake when she came to my home. And this is the example, one of the several gifts that she ever gave to me. It felt that she always gave me something that I liked, even though I rarely did the same thing. And it felt like she was really cared to me, and she just looked like my old sister. That's why I'm really thankful to know her and to have her as my best friends. And guys, that's all about my best friends. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And now we will talk about language features of recount text. The first, there is introducing personal participant. For example, I, my group, we, and each other. And next, using chronological connection. For example, then, first, second, next, and finally, and each other, yeah. And then using linking verb. For example, was, were, so, heard, and each other. And next, using action verb. For example, look, go, change, and each other. And the last, using simple past tense or past continuous or past perfect continuous and the others, yeah. And now I will give you some tips when you're writing the recount text. You should, the first, focus on individual people. For example, use the word I or we, my groups, my family, and each other. The second, use word which indicate when. For example, after lunch, in the morning, last year, and so on. The third, and where the event took place. For example, in the shed or Yogyakarta, in Bandung, and at school, and so on. The fourth, write in the past tense. For example, had, visited, when, and the others. And the last, use action word. For example, when, helped, and so on, yeah. Is it clear? Alright, I think it's enough for today, yeah. Hopefully you understand this material easily. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. And last, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.